So nearby Lucas, are you ready to get our newt on?
Newt.
Hell yeah. Pingu. So nearby Lucas, I have got a very deep pull for today's episode of Wiki Weekends, and I am on the Pingu Wiki.
Yeah, like when you turned around, I was like, right, I've got a couple of ideas for recording today, and one of them's Pingu.
Specifically, the entry on the Pingu Wiki, which you can find linked below, simply titled Censorship in Pingu. And here's the thing, Pingu, would you like to describe what Pingu is for the folks at home who maybe aren't familiar with everyone's favourite lovable Plasticine penguin?
Yeah, he's just, you know, a stop motion, like claymation kind of animation. It's just like a kid's TV show about a penguin that goes newt.
Yeah, and aren't you now, at the very least, intrigued to know what the fuck Pingu did?
Like, are we cancelling Pingu? Is that what's happening?
Well, would you like to cover it?
Or would he have been cancelled if he didn't cover it up?
We have here, so, censorship of Pingu. This is a list of episodes from the television series Pingu that were withheld from rotation by the Pygos Group. The Pygos Group, along with the other rights holders for Pingu at the time, like the BBC, have decided to pull several episodes from broadcast because they were deemed either too frightening. That's the one that caught my interest. Like,
yeah,
too frightening, inappropriate, offensive, or violent for children. And this is, remember, a show about a penguin.
Why is Pingu getting violent?
Well, let's find out, shall we? The ban has been upheld by the Pygos Group. The ban has been upheld by the Pygos Group and the successive owners of the Pingu series, Hit Entertainment, to this day, and these episodes have not been found officially broadcast on television in many countries. They do, however, exist online, so we'll of course put in clips of all the ones that I can find.
Far do we need to get into the dark side of the internet to find these?
They're all on YouTube. Like, every single one's on YouTube, so don't worry. There'll be plenty of clips of these moments from the show that were too frightening or violent for children in this show about a penguin. That's the thing, it's just a show about... And like, do you know what really surprised me? That Pingu's like Swedish. So I always assumed that Pingu was English because... Yeah, and I watched it, you know, as a kid, and it's like, no, it's like Swedish or something. It's like Magic Roundabout is French, and like the clangers.
You know, that's one of those things where it's a very smart idea to just make the character go newt.
So, you know, it translates everywhere. So I mentioned the clangers, and there's a great interview about the clangers. People don't know the clangers. There's a clip of the clangers. I love the clangers. Like, they're little mice-looking things that live on the moon, and they just, like, make this whistling noise. And they never had to... Well, the only thing that had to dub was the voiceover, because everyone watching in every foreign market where they, like, syndicated the show, it's like, yeah, they're speaking German, they're speaking French, speaking Italian.
So, what happens nowadays when Pingu speaks?
I'm not sure. Why?
I'm pretty sure he talks.
Pingu doesn't talk.
If you
No, he doesn't. Pingu talks. if there's a clip of Pingu talking, I'm gonna lose my shit. Pingu's Pancakes official Pingu channel. This is from 2007. No, he's just Pinguing.
If you Google just like, does Pingu talk
Does
English?
Pingu talk? It says here, it's Pingu's lingo. It says he speaks Penguinese.
Because I got told at some point that like they made Pingu talk, and I was like, that's unacceptable. Pingu says newt.
No, he says here he speaks Penguinese. Like, you know, and I'm gonna trust, like, you know, this source here, the Pingu Wiki, that he speaks Penguinese.
Maybe we can double check that after recording.
Because I was like, there's no way. Because that's like.
Maybe I've just been had by somebody there.
You may have been had. Hi, so Karl here, and I did some research on this after the fact and discovered that whilst there isn't a new version of Pingu where Pingu speaks, Pingu does speak English in the Korean dub of the show. Please enjoy these cursed clips of this forbidden version of Pingu that I found on the internet.
Delicious dinner, very good. Pingu, you are such a bad boy. Boy like you must pay for this.
Yeah, but I do know that Pikachu talks. Do we dare put the clipping of Pikachu talking like, I love you, Ash? And it's like, I lost my shit. I was like, what is this?
I guess you've got to...
Why won't you get in your Pokeball?
It's because I always want to be with you.
I only saw it recently and I died inside.
I don't get it. It's one of the most baffling creative decisions I've ever seen in regards to like
And luckily it was
anime.
only for that, like, anniversary movie
It's
redo, but, like, regardless, bad idea, but at least it's not, like, in the mainline anime.
It still freaked me out though when it happened because like the person who told me, but they didn't tell me. They said, "Let's just watch this Pokemon movie." And it gets to the end, "I love you, Ash." I'm like, the fuck was that? When do they have those reaction videos like people watching like Endgame and it's like, you know, Cat picking up Mjolnir? Do they have ones of the Pikachu move where Pikachu
I'm
talks?
sure they do, yeah.
What if they do? There's a clip going in. I want to know what the audience reaction. I bet it's just like, what?
It's because I always want.
There's just like 80 people in the audience simultaneously thinking they've just entered an alternate
Like,
dimension.
children start crying.
So, oh, anyway, so we have here just a list of the episodes that have been banned or censored in some way from Pingu. And the very first one is episode 1. Episode 1, season 1. There's a problem. Not banned, but there's a scene where Ping smacks Pingu on the head and makes Pingu trip. So that's edited out on the BBC due to the violence.
Violence?
Well, yeah, well, it's a kid's show. You don't want anything that can be replicated by children. Because, like, let's be honest here. When you were a kid, did you try and do WWF moves?
I mean, yeah, but I also, like...
Did you see the warning telling you not to do that?
I slapped my sister on the head regardless of whether Pingu told me to do it.
It's just that thing of, like, kids are idiots. And that's one thing, like, whenever stuff like this comes, like, that's a ridiculous reason to ban it. It's like, yeah, because we're adults with, like, you know, adult brains that function properly. Kids are idiots. So I understand it in that sense, but it's just very funny. That's episode 1, Pingu getting slapped upside the head. And it says here that, yeah, it was, when it was released on VHS, it was almost going to be entirely banned, but still aired in the UK and the United States on Cartoon Network. It was eventually removed from British television. So the very first episode of Pingu, this cultural touchstone for a lot of people, removed from television.
How will we ever know the origins of the Newt?
We'll never know. And it's just the idea is I was getting slapped. And the episode's called Hello Pingu. Pingu is introduced. And the episode's banned. It's like that episode of Pokemon, isn't it? That got removed where, like, because it has a gun in it.
Don't shoot me, please! Stop! Drop those! He's not with Team Rocket!
But it's the episode where Ash catches 30 Tauros. So just like because the episode's not in, like, you know, various releases, just Ash randomly has 30 Tauros.
And he just never gets mentioned. Because there's just, like, every now and then it'll just pan to, like, Professor Oak back at the lab where there's just, like, a field full of Tauros and everyone's like, what?
Where did all those come from? But it does say the scene is intact on various VHS releases outside of the UK. And, you know, on the internet where we can just get a clip of it and just put it in.
You can't stop it.
So the next one is episode 2. So they couldn't even make it 2 episodes without doing something wrong. And this is Pingu looks after the egg / Pingu helps with incubating. On the BBC VHS release of this episode, the scene where Pingu is stuffed inside the cupboard, worried about how his parents will respond, was removed completely, likely due to it unintentionally mirroring a self-harm attempt. And that's another thing. It sounds ridiculous, but it's a show for children. You don't want to put stuff in a show for kids that they might replicate.
Or just, like, the fact that, generally speaking, that's pretty dark.
Yeah, like hiding from his parents. He's scared of how they'll respond to something. You know, it's like there's a lot of mirroring there with like abuse and stuff like that. And again, you can see why they're removing something for children. And whenever you talk about stuff like, you always get fully grown adult men like, this is ridiculous. It's like, well, it's for kids, isn't it? Is it really the biggest, right, you know, problem in your life that a show for kids?
Screaming like, well, it didn't mess me up as a kid as they refused to go to therapy. It's like...
Man screaming on the internet about a children's show, this didn't affect me in a negative way. Like, something did. But they couldn't make it 2 episodes in without doing something wrong. And next one we have the episode Jealousy, and that's episode 6. So the shot where...
solid episodes there without getting banned.
No controversy for, like, you know, episodes 3 through 5. The shot where Pingu pretends to be sick were cut in the USA because some viewers found it inappropriate.
I mean,
No
maybe,
explanation
but
given.
again, that's something I definitely did as a kid without you telling me to.
Just like, I'm going to pretend that I'm sick, so I don't want to go to school.
Did you have a Chinese test today? It's like, no, I'm just sick, honestly.
I'm still amazed that you got taught Chinese at school, and your reasoning of just like one day, like everyone will speak Chinese because they'll control all media, and you're pretty close. With, like, you know, all Hollywood movies having to, like, you know, kowtow to the Chinese market.
Yeah, my 10-year-old self, when asked why did you want to study Chinese, was because China will rule the world one day.
Well, maybe not the world, but at least, like, you know, the media landscape as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you speak any Chinese beyond Ni Hao?
Not particularly anymore.
What about Yumo Gui Gui Vai Di Sao?
What was that? What was that? That joined the Navy one or something?
No, it's from Jackie Chan Adventures. It's what Uncle does.
Oh, yeah.
I'll probably butcher it. It means, like, ghosts and demons be gone now or something like that.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
What a show. Oh, man. Is there a Jackie Chan Adventures wiki?
We need to do
I just need to check so we can talk about the talismans. Just double check.
That's a different episode.
Yeah, it will, but I just want to know if it exists. Wiki. Is there a wiki? Jackie Chan Adventures. There's a Jackie Chan Adventures wiki. Okay, that's another episode sorted. So the next, Jealousy. So there was also a similar edit in the episode as with Pingu Looks After the Egg for the BBC VHS, but it was more elaborate this time round. So this, the scene of Pingu closing himself in the toy chest was deleted, and his mother coming over to comfort him being replaced by a recycled shot. So another one where, like, you know, Pingu hides inside an object, and it's one of those things where they have to cut out of a lot of movies and TV shows. So there's a very famous story in the United States, like there's a spate of kids locking themselves in refrigerators because it was in a movie, and they died because you can't really open refrigerators from the inside because, like, they seal, and a bunch of kids died. So you can see why shots of Pingu stuffing himself inside, like, you know, small enclosed spaces. Maybe we shouldn't put those in kids shows.
Yeah, I think I've heard, like, stories where just kids did hide and seek and hid in the refrigerator or the freezer and stuff like that. And
like tumble dryers and all that good stuff. So, or under cars, in the boots of cars. And the next episode, Pingu Runs Away. Do you want to guess why that one? It's called Pingu Runs Away.
I'm presuming that was banned because they didn't want to encourage children to run away from home.
Well, it's that. So it says this episode was placed on an unofficial ban list from broadcast or video distribution due to his mother spanking him. Oh, so yeah, depictions of, like, and that's another one I was saying, like, oh, well, you know, I was spanked as a child and it didn't do anything wrong to me. It's like, well, you're advocating hitting children. Like, maybe it did. I've never understood the argument. Well, I was hit as a kid and it didn't do any harm. It's like, well, you stood here advocating hitting children.
Oh, God, like, I never understand those things. It's like, well, I had it shit as a kid, so you should too.
I think it's a quote from one of the founding fathers in America. It's like, I study war and diplomacy, so my son can study, like, trade and finance, so his son can study art and literature. So I want my lessons. We're getting a bit philosophical here. Pingu, look at that.
I was going less philosophical with it. Of just, like, remember seeing a post that went viral, and it was, like, somebody being like, oh my God, these kids are, like, pretending to sip champagne in, like, you know, in school and stuff, and, like, having a tea party. It wasn't like that back in my day. This is disgraceful. And it's like, wait, do you not want, like, your kids to have a better life than you did?
No, they must suffer. Others must suffer as I did. It says, well, the episode also features some very scary looking ice monsters, which not just frighten Pingu, but a lot of very young viewers, according to, like, complaints that are written in. And I love that sometimes just children's shows go super fucking hard out of nowhere. It's like when you're watching, like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and you just get to, like, the scene that everyone's like, everyone knows what scene I mean. It's like, why did you go so hard for this one moment?
Any signs that they are slowing?
Which one? Like the canal scene?
When you're going down the river and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? We have here, so then music lessons, episode 16. The original version of this episode contained copyrighted music.
The classic.
Yeah. We're on you. We know. We feel you. And we're not. Ironically, we can't put that clip in. Yeah. It's the one clip we won't be able to put in, even if we can find it. And we have next episode 19. Little accidents. Pingu's lavatory story. This episode was placed on an official ban list, except for in the UK and Canada, due to toilet humour, realistic appearance of urination, and alcoholic references.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I guess it's like Pingu, like, you know, he drinks and he acts drunk, but
like I was gonna say, like maybe like he publicly urinates or something like that.
That's just funny. It's like, that thing, like Pingu pissing is gonna be hilarious, and I bet the clip's hilarious. So it's like.
What the send the
Do you ever see those complaints from like Peppa Pig? of like, Peppa Pig jumps in muddy puddles, and now my kid likes jumping in muddy puddles like Peppa Pig. It's like,
calm down, that's what kids do.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I get it, they're getting their clothes dirty, but have you ever seen a puddle and just thought, I'm gonna jump in that? When's the last time you just saw a big puddle and went, I'm gonna fucking jump in that one?
Peppa loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles.
It's really satisfying. I recommend everyone does it the next time it rains. Just go jump in a big puddle. It's really satisfying.
I just, I find it really funny because, like, you know, you see a lot of videos of dogs doing that, getting super muddy and loving jumping in puddles.
Yeah.
And then, like, the first time we introduced my sausage dog, Cade, to, like, a big puddle. We do have a video of this.
Send it to me and I'll put the clip in.
And he just, like, starts going in and he's like, oh no, I don't like this. And then just backs out and it's like, I'm going to avoid puddles forever now.
Okay, so the next one, Pingu's Dream. This is the most famous one. So I'm going to just Google Pingu's Dream on my phone here. I'm going to show you a screenshot from the episode and see if you can tell me why this episode was banned. Because it's the one where everyone's like, what the fuck is that? Why is this in Pingu? My child is scared and they're crying. So I'm just going to show, like, there's a walrus. Like, Pingu has a dream or a nightmare and he encounters a walrus. And apparently the person who animated the walrus has no idea what a fucking walrus is. Because that's what they put.
Jesus Christ.
That's the thing. You look at that and it's like, what the fuck? Have you ever seen a walrus?
That's nightmare fuel.
It is. And we have here, this episode was placed on an unofficial ban list due to the giant walrus being too frightening and haunting for young viewers. It was removed from British television due to major controversy. Then we've got season 2. I think it's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think just every now and again, kids shows just get super real. So there's episode like SpongeBob sometimes has like the extreme, super detailed close-ups of characters' faces, like the dehydration episode, and it's just out of nowhere, incredibly like uncomfortable to view.
I still think one of the best ones though was when like they get lifted out of the water and it's just an actual sponge washing the dishes.
I do love when they do that.
Like,
Come and get it. You're all gonna like this.
Oh, so they have a season 2. This Pingu at the Doctor's. It was placed under an unofficial ban list from broadcast due to seeing real blood. It's the only episode to be banned in Poland. So Pingu must bleed.
I'm wondering how much Pingu bleeds.
Let's find out. If we can find the clip. And the next one is Pingu's Admirer. Ooh, minor controversy near the end of the episode. Because the sign that respectively reads Pitostrokia and Glasnost were accused of promoting both communism and the Soviet Union. Just Pingu. Is Pingu communist? Is that the thumbnail for this video? Pingu communist, question mark?
Maybe Pingu knew where it's at. Like, capitalism has got us very, very much nowhere.
Down, like that's the one, like down with the bourgeoisie. Like Pingu's least favourite class, the bourgeoisie. Let's fucking sort it out. Well, I'm definitely putting that as the thumbnail. Is Pingu communist? It's gonna be like that. Doing like my best Simon Whistler face. Just, Pingu communist. Wiki weekend, let's go. Then we have Pingu's first kiss. This episode was banned and removed from American television because they're fucking squares due to, and I quote, the beak-to-beak contact being found inappropriate. Why is it in America they give such a huge fucking shit about like characters in like children's TV shows?
Like showing intimacy.
Showing intimacy and affection.
I get it, yeah. If Pingu got laid, then that might be a bit much. But like a beak-on-beak contact.
There's like how many like I watch like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. I fucking love that show, and that that show is unapologetically gay.
Oh yeah.
To the point where like the creative director when asked like, well, there's a big rainbow at the start of the show. What does that represent? They just went the gay agenda. And like every character in the show, like pretty much every character in the show is gay. I even have a T-shirt that says like "Let's go lesbians" on it.
I love like just trying to scare people with the words "the gay agenda."
And like the amount of people who've complained about it, like It's a show for little girls that starred like a huge, like a gigantic buff woman. I'm wondering, like, there's probably a lot of awakenings happened as a result of She-Ra.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You'll see the same guys who like, oh, they're ruining She-Ra. Like, oh, Lady Dimitrescu though. Giant, like, I'm allowed to have my giant statuesque lady to step on me, but like, no, girls can't have that. That's our thing. And the show's fantastic. I love it. But beak to beak contact. And they've just the thing, the screenshot, and it's like just two plasticine penguins, just like necking on one another. And then with season 3, Pingu quarrels with his mother. Oh my god. The scene where Pingu's mother slaps Pingu across the face.
Oh god, yeah.
Thing is though, because he's a penguin, that's gonna be such a satisfying slap noise, like the.
Like, how much contact can you get from those flippers?
How much flipper to beat contact do you get? Like, how much like airtime does Pingu get when his mother knocks him off? That's the only episode from season 3.
I was going to say, we'll never know how much airtime Pingu gets because it got banned.
And season 4, Pingu gets a warning. It's banned in Japan for unknown reasons. But it says there's a theory it could have been due to the fact that Mrs. Pengsniff. Well, she's got a blue. That's blue. Who's Mrs. Pengsniff? Mrs. Pengsniff is a very grouchy and nosy neighbour. Oh. Okay.
It's just a weird sounding name.
It just Pengsniff.
Mm.
That doesn't. I don't feel good saying that word out loud. They chase after Pingu and Pingo with a carpet beater. However, the Kopu Information Bureau assumes that because this story wouldn't click with the Japanese audience, likely due to there not being a clear sense of accomplishment at the end of the episode. I'm going to take the Pingu Wiki's word for it on that one.
I mean, yeah, I guess, like, because, you know, a lot of kids' stories, like, they're meant to, I guess, teach a lesson, or, like, it's like, you know, what would the Sonic TV show be without Sonic says at the end?
Yeah, like, don't do drugs. Like, you know, that's no good. Like, that's the thing, Sonic should only exist in that form. Like, he should only exist as, ironically on t-shirts, saying, like, I get bullied at school. And those shorts.
Kids, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good.
Pingu and the doll. This episode, oh man, all I need to do is just look at the screenshot of this one, and it's just Pingu with like a Native American like feather on his head.
Oh,
so
right.
I don't even need to know why this one does, and that's the final one. Which was banned throughout most of North America due to Pingu stereotyping as a Native American.
I think that's a fair enough one.
Yeah. Just, he's even got like the little tomahawk, and it's like, come on, Pingu, what are you doing?
So I guess, like, you know, what I said at the start of the video might have been true. Was like, maybe Pingu would have got cancelled by now.
No, if he was a YouTuber, though, we could turn that into a decent career.
Like, just make an apology video, it'll all go away.
Well, Pingu, basically every screenshot of Pingu is a YouTuber thumbnail. Like, Joey's got the big fucking mouth. Like, that's the, he's just the newt. The newt, he's the perfect.
I just want, like, Pingu sat in, like, a dark room with the 3-day stubble being like, I'm really sorry.
You know, you got to start like this.
New.
Yeah.
New.
New. Because you know we're all here. There's that thing. Do you ever see that amazing like hard drive like article? The hard drive people don't know is like a satirical gaming website.
Similar to The Onion, but for gaming.
For gaming news, yeah. And they rarely miss. And they had a fake headline of PewDiePie apologizes for inadvertently putting on an entire KKK outfit live on stream. And his fans thought it was real.
Oh, no.
Like, people are in it defend like, look, we need some context here before we start criticizing him. And it's just, the screenshot is like obviously Photoshop PewDiePie as a fucking like member of the KKK.
Oh no. And people are like, look, let's give him a chance here.
It's like, I think when the best friends, like, you know, rip in peace before like they disappeared, they had a running gag of like, do you like Clippy? He like, he pops like, I see you're writing a letter. They said they need another version called Snippy for streamers. And she's like, I see you accidentally went on a 30-minute racist tirade. Would you like me to cut that out of your upload?
Oh no.
Do you know, like when you know microphones, like we're using a microphone here, it has a cough button. Press this. For example, it's like most high-end recording software has like a little button that mutes the microphone for coughing or for sneezing, or if you clear your throat or something like that, so it doesn't pick up on the audio. Streamers need that. Of just like when they really need to scream the N-word.
No, Karl. We're gonna get you cancelled today.
No, streamers need it. Like, no. Do you ever see that great post?
I mean, we're not talking about the fact that it's a good thing. We're just saying it's baffling how many people have been caught out being like awful racist people.
Because they just feel the need to scream it out loud.
And then they just like make that one dour apology video and apparently everything's fine.
Yeah, it's like, just newt. That's all you need. I can't believe Pingu. That's the thing. Episode 1.
First 2 episodes of
episode fucking what? Like, what's your favourite then of those? Because there's a couple. Like,
the Walrus has got to be.
The Walrus is great. I'm kind of liking the beat-to-beat contact. Of just like, why are Americans so weird about sex and sexuality and like kids learning about intimacy? And like,
that's the weird thing, isn't it? Is like they're so unwilling to let children know about like anything that might be considered sexual, and it's like I understand, but at the same time, like sex education is important.
All you do, you just point to the graph, don't you? Like, here are all the schools or the districts in America that don't allow, we talk about safe sex and contraception. Here are the teen pregnancy rates for that particular area of the states, and it's just boom.
Yeah.
One to a goddamn one. And you know what? Let Pingu kiss.
Let Pingu kiss.
Let him do it.
Don't let the Walrus out. Keep that one banned.
It's just the fact it's got like the weird Sonic the Hedgehog teeth. It's got like the real human teeth. Yeah. And do you know what I found out recently? Do you know, have you seen the is it Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the movie, like Ugly Sonic's in it?
I've seen that part of that movie, yeah.
Yeah, like they contacted the animation company behind the Sonic movie. Do you still have that model? And they were like, yeah, it's on a hard drive somewhere.
And then they like aged it up a little bit and gave him a bit of a pot belly, and Nick Robinson voiced it.
So if anyone's curious, that actually is the model from the original trailer. They had it and they sent it over to the company making Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and they just played around with it and made it look even uglier somehow.
That was a great bit of just like, yeah, Sonic, I'm sure you'll make it back. Yeah.
You've still got it.
You're doing alright, Ugly Sonic.
See
yeah.
They need that Sonic giving the life advice. Of if you get offered to do drugs, just say that's no good and eat a chili dog instead. Oh, well, yeah. Pingu.
No.
Newt fucking Newt.